Hello, I'm Matt from the Raywa Gaming Brothers, part of the Raywa Gaming Brothers podcast. And I'm here in my very first YouTube video to bring my interesting commentary and discussion and arguments and whatever you want to call it on gaming to you in video form. If you've never listened to the Raywa Game podcast, I highly recommend it. You can find it at any one of your wonderful podcast places such as iTunes or any other service. And I hope that you check us out. But today, it's not about the Raywa Gaming Brothers. It's about my excitement over what's about to happen tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, which is June 11th, although June 11th here in Japan already, is the official PlayStation 5 unveiling event. We have been waiting for months and months and months for new information regarding the PlayStation 5 system. And this week was supposed to be E3. Unfortunately, as we saw with everything has been canceled because of, well, you know what. Now, Sony wasn't going to be at E3. They had already said they weren't going to be at E3 before all this mess had begun. But still, people were expecting that around this time we were going to get information for the new system. And guess what? We are. Tomorrow, finally, the covers will be unveiled and we're going to see what this system can do. Now, we've already gotten a little bit of an idea of what this system is going to be about. We've seen, for instance, the Unreal 5 demo trailer showing the engine working on a PlayStation 5 system. Not an actual game, but an actual program working on the system, and it looked very impressive. We've also seen the controller, which apparently has haptic feedback, which sounds really, really interesting. Looks really cool too. But other than that, we really don't know much about the system. We do know about the SSD drive and a lot of the architecture inside, which is going to help make games run faster, load faster, and will actually end up apparently making game development much more interesting, much more advanced. And there's a lot of excitement in the world for that. But what we don't know really is the games. We have not seen many games so far for this next generation. Really all we've known is what was shown a few weeks ago during the Microsoft third-party conference that Microsoft did, their little third-party digital event, where Microsoft showed off a lot of third-party games, most of them coming to the PlayStation 5 as well. A few of them were exclusive to the Xbox, but what we saw was both exciting and disappointing. Many people felt that the games they showed were cool looking, but they were, not the best of third-party games. Personally, I actually enjoyed most of what I saw. What I didn't enjoy was the fact that a lot of it wasn't real gameplay, which a lot of the videos and a lot of the talking online said that we would see actual gameplay. Instead, we saw a lot of trailers that had manipulated camera movements that made it that, oh, it's running on the system, but it's actually not real gameplay. So that was very disappointing. Also, the fact that many of the videos had a little note on the bottom saying that, oh, this is representative of what Xbox Series X hardware can do and what the games will look like on it. That was very disappointing. But rumor already has it that tomorrow's event, Sony will be showcasing gameplay that is actually running on the PlayStation 5 system. The rumor's been going around that Sony does not want a repeat of what happened with Microsoft and Ubisoft, which also got in a lot of trouble with their Assassin's Creed trailer. They don't want to have the same anger and frustration from video game fans, gamers, and PlayStation fans that Microsoft got for their last conference. Now, will that happen? Who knows? But hopefully it does, because I really want to see great gameplay and not faked gaming preview videos. I want actual gameplay, and hopefully we'll see that. So in this video today, we're going to talk about my predictions for tomorrow. And I'm going to come back tomorrow after the conference and talk about my reactions to it. We'll see if my predictions came true, and also see my reactions to all the gameplay and hopefully a lot of surprises. But let's talk about what I think is going to be there. Number one, hardware. There's been a lot of speculation whether Sony will show hardware or not tomorrow. And I think that Sony's absolutely going to show the PlayStation 5 system. We know that the system apparently is either starting manufacturing or about to start manufacturing. And once that happens, there's definitely going to be leaks. We've seen leaks of systems for years of what systems look like. And it would be not surprising that that happened again. So Sony, if they're smart, would want to show off the system to the world and showcase this in a wonderful surprise. I think it would be the best thing for them to do is to show that system when they start that video. So I'm expecting that to happen. What I'm not expecting, release date or price. It would be great to have because, hey, in this economic environment that we're in right now, I would like to know how much money I'm going to have to save up to be able to buy a PlayStation 5 in the future. But I have a feeling because Microsoft hasn't really talked about their plans so much as of yet, Sony's probably going to wait too. There's been a little rumor that there's a game of chicken going on, but we won't know for a while. So hopefully that information comes sooner rather than later, but I would be very surprised if it comes tomorrow. I also don't expect any other hardware announcements or other hardware presentations. For instance, I don't think we're going to see PlayStation VR 2 just yet. Obviously, everyone that's excited about VR, including myself, really wants to see what Sony brings to the table with the next generation of VR. Obviously, the first generation with PS4 was a lot of fun and still fun to this day, but there's a lot of places where they can improve. But I don't think tomorrow is the day we're going to see that. I think tomorrow is going to be just PlayStation 5, and the games that we can expect to see in the near or just 1 or 2 years out in the future. And that's where we're going to go to next, the big rumors. What are we going to see gameplay wise? Number one, I've been saying this myself for weeks and months, and everyone else has been saying it, but I think absolutely Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is going to be there. Sony came out with one of the best first-party games, best new IPs this generation with Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games, I believe, is the one that made it. I apologize if I get that wrong. I'm trying to get off the side of my head here. And they came off with a fantastic new IP with one of my favorite new characters. I actually have the character up there in my figure selection. And that game has been screaming for a sequel ever since it came out. We know from the ending that a sequel is going to absolutely come. And with the announcement earlier in this year that Horizon Zero Dawn was coming to PC, it seems like the interest in the getting the name back out there is very important. Now, is this a game we're going to see at launch? I don't know about that. It would seem would be kind of quick to announce it and then bring it out at launch. Sony's done things like that in the past, but I don't know if they'd be willing to do that now. But I do think we're going to see Horizon Zero Dawn 2 tomorrow, and we're going to see gameplay of it, and I think it's going to blow us away. What about other Sony IP? For instance, Spider-Man. Could we see Spider-Man 2? Maybe, but maybe it's a little early on that one. Same also with God of War 2. I think those are the two games that everyone wants to see. The next God of War game and the next Spider-Man game. And obviously, they're coming, but are they ready to be shown yet? Honestly, even if it's just a little bit of gameplay and it's still 2 or 3 years off down the road, I would love to see a little teaser of it. I would love to see what those worlds look like. I would love to have an idea that how long we're going to have to wait for those games. But I'm not expecting them to come out anytime soon. Other than that, I think there's going to be a lot of other interesting titles from Sony, but I think we're going to be surprised by them. I have some feeling that Sony's going to announce some new IPs, maybe some that will turn out to be like Knack, that didn't end up being such a big or interesting hit like we all hoped it would be when it was first shown. But I do think we're going to see some new stuff from Sony that will excite people. Speaking of Sony and their Japan studios, what about that big rumor about Konami and them making a deal to bring Silent Hill back with a reboot on the PlayStation 5 with the original director of the game and I believe the original music composer as well? This rumor can't seem to go away, so I'm going to say, yeah, I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see the new Silent Hill. If they've been talking about it this much for the last few weeks, I just have a hard time believing that it's just nothing but a puff of smoke in the air. I really think there's probably something to this. I hope so, because first of all, Silent Hill is one of the best horror game franchises of all time. And we all know that Konami has kind of stepped aside from most gaming development. Yes, they still make games. Here in Japan, they definitely still make games, but they don't make as many of the hardcore gamer games that we all know and love from the past. They've been moving on to other areas of their businesses. So if they end up actually giving, through a license, the Silent Hill game to another company, I think that's great. It works for everyone. Konami gets to have their IP used and improved on, and Sony gets a great exclusive and great new game, and everyone's happy, and the fans are happy, everyone's happy, and I would love that. So yes, I think Silent Hill will be there. What about Resident Evil 8, apparently called Resident Evil Village? Well, Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 7 were both shown at Sony conferences. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years since the last trailer. So wouldn't it be nice for Resident Evil 8 to show up? I think so. I think it actually absolutely has an opportunity and chance to be there. It would be interesting to see Resident Evil and Silent Hill on the same show. I don't know which one I'd be more excited about, but one thing that we keep hearing about Resident Evil 8 is that's going to be first person, which probably means VR. And let me tell you, as someone who played Resident Evil 7 VR, which I hope if you did play Resident Evil 7, you did play in VR, it is one of the most amazing immersive experiences and one of the most frightening games of all time, even more so in VR. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Resident Evil 8 will be there as well. Other than that, what else are we going to see? What games could be shown for this system? Well, I'm going to give you some ideas of what I think we will see. For instance, there's apparently, I forget the name of the title, there's a new Tales of game that was announced last year. That I think will be end up being a PS4, PS5 title, and they'll probably show off gameplay of the PS5 version of it. It wouldn't surprise me to see that at all. I do expect to see Square Enix there. Will they announce Final Fantasy 16? I think that would be an awesome thing to see. It wouldn't be surprising. A new Final Fantasy announced with a new system. That would be great. And when you think about it, when you actually think about it, it's been a long time since we've had a brand new Final Fantasy single-player numbered game announced. If you really think about it, it hasn't been since Final Fantasy 13. Because remember, Final Fantasy 15 was originally Final Fantasy Versus 13, which ended up becoming 15. And I think that was announced at the same time as 13, along with Type 0. So it's been so many years, like a decade or over a decade, since we've had an announcement of a brand new single-player Final Fantasy game. So obviously 16 has been out there for a long time. It would be great to be shown. Hopefully it's there. I expect Square Enix to be there in many ways. I expect them to show many types of games because they are part of Sony in as much as anything. Yes, they make games for Xbox and Nintendo, but they do have a strong relationship with Sony, so it would be great to see. And you know what? Final Fantasy and Sony go together hand in hand, so Final Fantasy 16 would be a nice game to see. What else? What about Sega? Well, we saw Yakuza 7, or is it Yakuza Like a Dragon, I believe is the name in the West, showcased on the Xbox third-party showcase. I think they'll probably announce that will also be coming to PS5, so there'll be a PS4, PS5 thing, which will lead me to also say, hey, just like a possible Tales game coming to PS5, there'll probably be an upgrade plan for a lot of these games. And if you buy the PS4 version, you'll get the PS5 version, just like with Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. I think they will get that same announcement as before. I expect we'll also see lots of sports titles. I think we'll see new Madden games, new NBA games shown. Sports will be a big part of this broadcast tomorrow, as they always are. Sports games are very important to the systems, so we're going to see that there as well. What else could we see? What other surprises are in store for us? Well, Capcom, hey, anything could be possible with them. I know some people were like earlier today on a message forum I go on was showcasing what they said was a Street Fighter 6 poster, which was nothing but a fake. It's like a 6-month-old poster. I don't think we'll see anything Street Fighter because they just announced Street Fighter 5 is getting another season pass, so that ain't happening. But wouldn't it be cool if we saw some other great Capcom franchises come out? Obviously we talked about Resident Evil before. What if there's a new Mega Man? Now people will say, well, Mega Man, that's nothing that would be next generation, but hey, it would be kind of neat to see. What about a new game in Devil May Cry? Devil May Cry 5 did pretty well, so why not bring that back? That would be kind of cool. And I think I wouldn't be surprised to see some remakes. What about a new Okami? We've heard that there's been a little rumbling about trying to get Okami back. It's probably too early for that one, but it would be nice to see if possible. I also wonder, what about games like MMORPGs like Final Fantasy 14? Will we see the PlayStation 5 version of that? I think that will also be coming out. Again, another Square title, going back to Square. I'm going back and forth a lot because I'm just thinking of what we could be seeing, what we could not be seeing. So there's a lot of things there that are very interesting. What about Western games? What about Bethesda? There's been a lot of talk about, what was it, the new game, not Starlink, but Starfield or something, that new space RPG they announced a couple of years ago. Could we see that? It would be nice to see that. Unfortunately, as we know with Bethesda, they seem to go back and forth on things. We already know that Elder Scrolls, the new one, is nowhere near ready to be shown, which is a very big disappointment considering they announced it 2 years ago. But I definitely would love to see the next game Bethesda has in their lineup to be shown tomorrow. And hey, that's a great time to show it. I do think that we will see a lot of indie titles, maybe in a little sizzle reel. Indie titles have become a very important part of all the systems this generation. Sony notwithstanding, it was a very big part of the PlayStation 4, especially at the very beginning. So it would be very interesting to see what indie game developers are going to do for this system itself. Now that I talked about things that I think we're going to see, I'm going to start talking about some things that I think are long shots, but absolutely we're going to maybe think about in the future. But these are things that are probably almost impossible or completely impossible, just for the heck of it. So, number one, what about PlayStation 5 version of Dreams Universe, or Dreams as it's called in the West? Probably 100%, but I don't think we'll see that tomorrow. That's something I think that's definitely going to happen. It is a great title. If you've never tried it out, definitely take a look at it. It's definitely worth it. When I was talking about Capcom earlier, I was thinking about, what about Deep Down? Deep Down. That was the game that was announced for the PlayStation 3 at the original PlayStation 3 conferences. That looked like a Dragon's Dogma type of game. And it looked amazing. The graphics were unbelievable, especially for its time. But that game just seemed to disappear off the face of the earth. And I don't know really why. Apparently just they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it. But wouldn't it be cool if they were to come tomorrow and say, oh, by the way, we have this game. So here we go with that. That would be very, very cool. How about Namco? We didn't talk about Namco. What game was missing from the PlayStation 4? Ridge Racer. Wouldn't it be cool if Ridge Racer came back? Ridge Racer would be a fantastic series to see come back for its new launch lineup for the PlayStation 5. So, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if that showed up. Also, Gran Turismo 7. There's been a lot of rumors about a Gran Turismo. There's been trademark applications that have shown up lately. There was that steering wheel apparel company that showcased the GT7 logo, but they said, oh, it was just made up by someone in our marketing department. It actually isn't real. So there's been some talk about GT7. I think GT7 would be an awesome game to come out within the first year of launch. What about Demon Souls and Bloodborne? And the reason I put this in the maybe impossible or not impossible thing is not the Demon Souls one. The Demon Souls rumor is that that's the Blue Point game. I do think we'll see that. I think that's a game that's been rumored over and over and over again. And I think at this point, if it turns out it's not true, it's just going to disappoint people. The first and still the best Souls game, in my opinion, it needs a remaster. People that didn't get a chance to play on the PS3 for obvious reasons, it's their chance to shine, to bring it back. That would be fantastic. But these rumors of a Bloodborne remaster, I think that's a little premature. There seemed to be this rumor going around that they're making a PC version, and thus there will also be a PS5 remastered version. But, Sony's done crazier things in the past. I mean, look at Shadows of the Colossus. They remastered that for PS3 after the original PS2 version, and then they remade it with Bluepoint Games on the PS4. So nothing is impossible, but I still would be surprised for that. Another thing is, I think you're going to see a great cornucopia of games from Western and Japanese developers combined. It's not going to be just Western companies, I should say, or not just going to be Japanese ones. It's going to be a great mix of all regions, and that's going to be a big, big, big benefit for Sony. So overall, I think what we're going to see lots of stuff over that hour. We're going to be really excited. I think the presentation is going to be very sleek. Sony apparently wants this thing to look good. The last conference Microsoft did, not to mean to be making fun of Microsoft, I'm not trying to, but they were using the whole stay-at-home mentality in the video, and it just didn't really come off as well. Of course, many people complained about Sony's deep dive into the hardware, which was nothing but a GDC conference where they had an audience that was like an MST3K audience in the front. Some people were making fun of that one. I think this will look a lot more smoother. In fact, I would be very surprised if there's many people talking. Maybe there might be one or two people in front of the camera filmed like somewhere in Sony, but I think it's going to be mostly gameplay footage. It's going to be nicely packaged, and it's going to be great. So those are my opinions of what we're going to see tomorrow. Obviously, I hope we see lots of RPGs. I'm a big fan of JRPGs. I'm looking forward to all the games that are announced from the Japanese side because I am a big Japanese game fan. But I'm also looking forward to all the games that are going to be shown, no matter what region they are. And hopefully, I got a lot of this right, but also hopefully there's a lot more surprises because, to be honest with you, we can predict these things over and over again, but it's the surprises that matter the most. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Now, all we have to do is wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a great day for all of us. But probably by the time you watch this, if you're watching this, it'll be only a few hours away. Anyway, those are my predictions. Those are my feelings. I'm very excited. I've loved the approach Sony has done. I know a lot of people haven't with this whole secrecy aspect of revealing the PlayStation 5. Personally, I think it is a very awesome idea because it makes people very excited for the system from the very beginning. And hopefully we get something amazing out of it tomorrow. I don't want to watch this thing very early in the morning and to be disappointed. I really hope Sony hits a home run, and I hope that the winner, of course, is gamers worldwide. Well, that's my little part of talking about the PlayStation 5 conference, my little preview. Time to get off the soapbox here, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you like it, please share with your friends. Please subscribe. Hit the like button, as they say. And hey, if you don't like the video, that's okay. You can hit the dislike. You can send me some comments regarding it. Hey, this is my first video that I'm going to do here. I'm a bit nervous, making some mistakes. That's okay. I'm going to get better. But I really want to do this more, and I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you listen more. So I will see you all tomorrow with my reactions to the Sony conference afterwards. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please continue watching if you like. And also, if you're interested, check out the Reiwa Gaming podcast on iTunes and all other major podcast services. It's a great show about gaming, a great show about living in Japan. There's a lot of laughs. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun. I'm on there. So are a few of my friends from Japan. It's really worth it. Well, until tomorrow, Have a good day. See you later.